Hey everyone, welcome to Dave Live 7. I am now making this part of my day. What can I say? Hey, do you like the flag? Or do you like the TV? I guess I have to choose between the two. How about you? I have my phone, and I think I'm going to give myself a selfie. I'll send it off to my cousin Ralphie. Take the glasses off. Look right up. See how it turned out. Gotta look up, baby. Let's see. That's better. Okay. If they don't or they won't, I'm doing okay. And that's me from my show I did, Blood Fear. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm in despair because showing ABC, ESPN, they've been cut off by Spectrum. Apple lowered the boom, and it led to TV doom. Right before the U.S. Open began, pro and college football is looming. Games have come and gone, and they've been blacked out. It's all a money issue. I guess Spectrum is being asked to pony up, and then they don't want to because they will have to raise our fees, which are already exorbitantly high. That's what they're up to. And I'm just saying for you, toodaloo. It's not too cool. Well, since no one is chatting with me, I kind of been discouraged to be so vigilant and so diligent with my show, making it 28 minutes. For what? Oh, well. If there's anybody out there watching, please chat now. Send me something. Send me a smoke signal, an SOS. I guess that's my best. In fact, I could do SOS. See if I get a response. No one is sending me anything. Send me something. I'm trying to stimulate this system. But it's not working, so it seems. I'll try to figure this out as I move along. I am Dave. All Dave and all night. Sweeney. Gold. I came to LA. I came to New York from LA in 1994. That was January of 94. By the end of that year, I'd gotten a teaching job with New York City, and I was an actor in LA part-time, being in the unions and everything. And I wanted to continue here, obviously. I saw this ad in the Daily News about cable access television, and it said you could sign up and do it for free, basically. So I jumped all over it, and it was on East 23rd Street, and I went down there and took the orientation, and I was told by this Victor guy, I think his name was Victor Sanchez. He seemed to be kind of a little bit harsh, but he was a pretty cool dude, really. And I said I had my own video camera, and I didn't need any training to use my own video camera, because you had to take the training so they think you can use their equipment in the studio. But since I had my own camera, they said I could start my show immediately, which I did. And I started to videotape myself at home. And that was basically from January 95 to near the end of the year, because I had to take workshops in studio work. I had to take everything. They were like 2-hour, 4-hour workshops. And before I could go in the studio, I had to take the workshops. And I had to take editing there before I could edit with their equipment. So everything took about a year's time. In the meantime, I was doing my 28-minute show with my camera from LA. And they just said you got to black it for 60 seconds at the front and at the end. And anything you put in between those 60 seconds of black at the front and the end, that 28-minute span, it was 29 originally, they changed it to 28, is really totally irrelevant to them what I do. So supposedly I could have someone who would screw, but I guess there's some type of checkbox you have to check out if it's X-rated, or I don't think they allowed nudity or anything like that. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to have a way to do my own stuff. I created my own material and I performed it. And I have to admit, a lot of the times I had been drinking when I did it, and I just let it rip. And I would put 28 minutes down, approximately 29, and take it to the studio and turn it in. And I didn't even have a cable access show on my television at the time, so I just aired it. I had my telephone number on there, my 212 number, 212-340-1295. Don't bother. It's a relic. It's gone. When I moved to New York, I didn't have a telephone here. I didn't want to get a telephone, so I got a voicemail service. And it was reasonably priced. And I set it up, and I used that for many years. I would go to telephone booths and check to see if I had any messages. And that worked fine with me. So I would leave my phone number. I'd either verbally say it or crudely make a sign and film it for them to call in. And I did have people leave messages. They liked it. I was drinking and just winging it, doing acting and singing. I'd play music and sing along with it like the Rolling Stones. And a lot of time I would be drunk as a skunk. But I didn't care. But they seemed to like it. And when I finally got in the studio and turned out studio shows, I got some backlash. They called in and they said, hey, what happened to the Dave Gold who was drunk and singing off key and acting like an utter catastrophe? That's what we want. And that's apparently, I had a following, and I just kept doing it, plugging along. Whereas it turned out I did 20 years of cable access television in Manhattan at the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. I finally ended around 2016, which would be about 7 years ago. And that's that. But now we have other ways of expressing ourselves that are a lot quicker, like on my iPhone, which I love. This is an iMac that I'm using here, and it's fine. I don't have to go into the studio and set up. I don't have to take a workshop to use it. I can just go through YouTube, which makes it very nice and easy to just record live. And here I am, voila. I used to do shows. I rent the studio, or not rent, you didn't have to pay, but you had to sign up and get 2 hour blocks or 4 hour blocks. I do 4 hour blocks with this guy. His name was Oliver Richardson. He was a black gentleman. He was older than me. And he was the guy who could really run the machines. And he agreed to do a show with me if I would do his show. So on Saturdays, we would often I'd go from 8 to 2. Sometimes it'd be from 12 to 4. Wait a minute. It was actually 10 to 2 for me because I had a 4 hour block, not just 2. So I had a lot of space to do shows, and I did a lot of shows. And Oliver had the 2 to 6 block, and he'd do like an entertainment variety show. He'd bring in all this talent. We'd have to set up and mic their keyboards or whatever they use to sing or perform and interview. And I got really good at it. I was good. I was adept, and I created a lot of stuff myself. I would shoot enough in that 4 hour space to maybe have 1, 2, 3 shows that I would edit the next week in the edit suites. I'd have to sign up for those, and I did that for year upon year. I met a lot of interesting people along the way. Some are not here today. Oliver's gone. Mr. Lee. James Dixon was a guy who came in as talent, and he came on my show a few times, and he's no longer with us. Richard Guerrero was there. He came on initially on my show, and he wanted to do all this stuff with me and these ideas. And I said, listen, Richie, get your own show. And he did. He became a producer himself, and he cranked out a lot of stuff. He used this Express Studio where you can do a one-man show. I ended up using that a lot. He took the camera out there, and he took training using their cameras, and then he could just take it out like at the library. You take out books, you take out cameras, you take it for a day or 2 or whatever. And he shot a tremendous amount of footage, but I don't think he used a lot of it, which was different from my philosophy, as it is today still. And that is, whatever I shoot, I air. Hear, hear. Sorry, I got a little itchiness in my eye. I have some eye drops. Oh man, I don't even know if it got in the eye, but it does relieve it. I tried the other eye too. I Spy. Oh, it got in there, like got out, but holy cow. I just want to say it was a hoot. It was a blast. And it was not taken super serious, but I did take pride in what I created. And like I told you before, I did get some interest from Comedy Central, and I didn't jump on it. I should have jumped on it. They wanted me to come in the late 90s, and they said nothing's promised. And I could have gone in there and kicked the door down and got in. Maybe got a show on Comedy Central, or I'd be in a different time and place now. I wouldn't be doing this damn show, that's for sure. But here, neither nor there. I think it's safe and fair to say they can't take my talent away. And I've developed skills and I can still do it, but damn it, no one's watching. No one is watching. I'm talking to myself. As Rich Guerrero said, I did the show on him last time and I told him to check it out. You can check my stuff out easily. You go on the internet and then you do a search and you go Dave Sweeney at Dave Gold Show. And I tried it and everything comes up. And this show is Dave Live 7, and that will come right up and you'll see it. But Richie said, it sounds like a Twilight Zone episode that I'm doing this show in post-apocalyptic America world. I'm sitting here. I got the technology working, and I'm just doing these shows, and I'm sending them out there, and no one is responding. Maybe no one's watching. I have SOS here, and no one is responding. Maybe someday, maybe I'll get the right way to get people to watch. But as it stands now, I'm not doing this show for naught. Because after it's over, it's recorded and it becomes part of my archive, my library, my Dave Live library. It's my playlist that I developed along with many other playlists I have. So, hey, cheers. It's nice decaf Maxwell House coffee. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in about almost a week, and that was a long time for me because I was drinking my whole life. From when I was a teenager, I got in a bad habit in high school, early high school. I never broke that habit. So that's colored me all the way through my life. And I think that held me back in different ways because I feel a lot better now knowing I'm not going to drink because I'm taking this medication for my knees. And let me just grab it here. Oh, it's called Meloxicam. And this is for my arthritis. I have osteoarthritis in both knees. And I'm going to start therapy in 2 days. And I hopefully am going to make progress. I think already I started this on Saturday morning of this past week. Today is Tuesday, September 6th. So I started it on September 1st. And the year of the Lord, 2023. I love it when they say that. I don't know why they say it, but it is the year 2023. And I'm getting warmed up, and I like this little chit chat. I'm doing it. I'm putting it there for posterity. Hopefully someday people will watch this and they'll say, boy, he was a pretty cool dude. He's no longer with us, but he's a pretty cool dude. I don't want to be rude or I don't want to start thinking negatively, but this enlivens me. The medication, yeah, it helps. My knee is already feeling a lot better. I feel optimistic. I don't know what's going to be next. But if I can have something like this that I have to take, and it says, do not use alcohol with it, or consult your doctor. What does it say? It says, you may take it with food and no, continue low dose aspirin unless before using alcohol with this drug, talk to your healthcare professional. I haven't talked to him, and I'm not going to. I'm just not going to use it. I'm using it as an excuse not to drink. And I feel already a lot better. And that's good, Eddie Vedder. I turned my side light on and it looks a little different. Yeah, I don't know. Either or. That's the score. Well, if someone's watching and you want to chat, we got a few more minutes to go. Like I said, I'm dedicated to doing 28 minutes, and I'm well on my way. I just hit the 21-minute mark, and it's not a problem for me to talk. I have a lot to talk about. It just streams. It's like streaming. Whatever comes to my mind that I think is relevant, like a big gray elephant in the room. Something people don't want to talk about, I'll talk about. I was talking to my brother today from Paris, France. He called me in and he said he was watching the US Open tennis and Coco Gauff was winning and she won decisively. And then Taylor Fritz, who was an American hopeful, and he got his hopes squashed by Djokovic, the Joker. I can't watch it on TV. There's a blackout. They're punishing us. They're taking away something that's very important to us. They did it on purpose, of course, to play hardball negotiations. Apple with Spectrum, I don't know the name of their company. I think it was Charter Communications or something like that. But it seems like no one's budging, and this could go on the whole year without watching the NFL. So many games are on ESPN. The U.S. Open tennis. Well, I still could watch Fox and other stations that have sports, CBS, NBC, but it goes to show that ESPN is the giant, and it's not a sleeping giant. And I am reliant on that, and now I don't have it. So you can see in the background, I think the Mets are playing the Nationals down in Washington. So I'll keep the TV on, and at 8 o'clock, the Rockford Files comes on. Jim Rockford, James Gardner did 122 shows, and they run it Monday through Friday. And those 122 shows just come and go really fast, and they just started over again. So they started it over again, and I was watching a couple of shows yesterday. The Countess was one, and then the other one, Big Red or Dark Bloody Ground, the Dark Bloody Ground, yeah. So today they're going to play Bay City, or they're going to be somewhere, and I like the early season stuff. James Gardner did. You got to figure if the show wasn't good in the opening season, they never would have had a second season. So it got a lot of buzz when it came out. And the thing I like about the Rockford Files is it started in September 74. They did the pilot in the spring, but they started the series in September 74. And that's right when I started college. So the Rockford Files went from September 74 to January 1980. And I mean, just one show in January of 1980, and then they pulled the plug on the sixth season. It was only halfway through, not even halfway through. It was just taken off the air. And at the time, they didn't have the internet and everything that people knew about. I just wondered what happened to this show. It was just, they pulled the plug on it. Apparently, James Gardner and whoever was producing it, they had a lot of conflicts. Gardner ended up suing them, and he was not getting money as they were airing the shows over around the world or on TV, and he sued, and he got a settlement finally after many years. But they could have done more shows. It wasn't dead by any means. Even that last season 6, they had about 8 or 10 shows they didn't shoot, and they canceled the series. So I wish they'd filmed the last season, just 6 more shows. Would have been great. But I keep watching them, and because there's nothing else on TV, and I just watch them, and I go into IMDb, and I check out the actors and actresses. was just watching Tales of Wells Fargo and The Rifleman earlier, and all these oldies but goldies, goodies. Yeah, that's the way to go for me. Retro. Okay, bro. Time's almost up. Less than 2 minutes to go. I just want to say thank you for watching. Anyone who does watch this after it's recorded and it's not going live anymore, but you can still watch it, and that's great. I'd hate to just do this live and then not have a recording of it and say, geez, I did a good show. I wish I could see it. I wish I had a record of it, but it is. There's a record. You go to Dave Sweeney at Dave Gold Show. And this playlist is Dave Live. And I've done Dave Live 7 today. And I did a couple others I didn't label as a number because I did them specifically for Nicholas Garofalo, and but they're still part of it, part of the catalog. And I just hope that all of you appreciate this, whoever is watching this, because I enjoy doing it. I'm on, and I could have done this to millions of people. I'm doing it to no one. Twilight Zone. Do 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 do. I was kind of half-assed in my approach. I never really went full bore. Now I'm a sniveling, crying little bitch whore. But I got more in store. I'll be back again. And I will continue to do these shows because a lot that I say are in the nose. In the nose, you know, my nose. It's not too big. Anymore, it would have been too big. But okay, that's it for today. Dave Live 7 from Heaven. Ciao for now.